Hi guys, short video here. If you are in the situation that you have to decide if you want to board up your windows during a hurricane or not, and you are not sure what to do, and so here's my information about that. Of course, this is not official advice. Always stick to the official recommendation if there are, but usually, unfortunately, there are not many. So here is my thinking and what I'm doing, and so you can decide if you want to do the same thing or not. I have a lot of information here during this video, but if you just need a quick advice, then go to the official government site in your area which is covering emergencies, or just check the weather apps. They will also tell you what the alerts are for your area. Of course, you won't find any recommendation about if or not to board up windows, but they will tell you what warnings there are in your area. So for example, here I'm on my phone, and so when we enter an area, we get the warnings which are for this location. So we click on that, so we can see the government alerts. We have storm surge warning, hurricane watch, tropical storm warning, flood watch, and so on and so on. So these are the most important things. And what I'm doing whenever I see a hurricane warning, then I board up my windows, and otherwise not. And it looks like that most people are doing exactly the same. So why is that actually? I've googled a little bit for that, and it looks like that's the general recommendation here. It is generally recommended to board up windows when a hurricane is expected to bring sustained winds of 74 miles per hour or higher, which is corresponding to the category 1 hurricane. You can see here also the details. So back to this here, and we can definitely see there is no hurricane warning. There's only a hurricane watch, but this is not the same. This is the lower alert. Maybe we get some more information about that. I don't know if you can see some wind speed. So here they say forecast 40 to 50 miles per hour with gusts to 80 miles, but it's just gusts, it's not sustained wind speed. That's very, very important. Of course, there could be also tropical storm warning watches whatsoever, but it doesn't matter. For me, it really has to be a hurricane warning. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything. I cannot guarantee that nothing will happen. It is, of course, very depending on the situation, depends on the wind direction. I'm talking about that later a little bit more, and what's in this direction. If there's a large building, maybe even blocking the wind, or if there's a tree, maybe an old tree losing branches and so on, then of course it would be much more dangerous. Then maybe I would even board up with a hurricane watch or so. But that's basically the most important thing. So usually AccuWeather, no matter if it's the app or if it's the website, usually just enter your location and it will tell what warnings you have. You can see exactly same thing here on the normal website, so you don't have to download the app. So of course, if you don't trust this and want to have a little bit more information, and also if you want to know the priority, where to start first, maybe you don't even have enough time or wood for all the windows, you just want to protect the most important area, then I can help you here as well. Again, officially there's not much information. I have checked also here in the hurricane information preparation, the PDF here, where they describe almost everything, but they do not give any recommendation about boarding up windows. They have a picture about that, but they are not giving any advice what to do. That's a little bit disappointing, I would say. So of course, when we want to have more information about the wind speed, what's very helpful then, that's the nhc.noaa.gov. That's the National Hurricane Center of the US. And so when we want to have some wind information, we can see when there's a hurricane or something, we can just click on that. Then we can click on wind speed probabilities, and when we have a hurricane or potential hurricane, then usually we have this icon here, hurricane wind speed probability. We click on that, and so you can see, for example, in this area where Clearwater is, which I'm covering here in this video, you can see dark green. That means 5 to 10% probability of hurricane force winds, I mean sustained winds. For that it must be above 74 miles per hour for at least 1 minute. So you can see it's not totally ruled out. Of course, anything could happen, but for me 5 to 10% that's okay. But at least here you have a scale which gives you some likelihoods, and so you can decide based on that. But of course, based on that, they give you either a hurricane watch or warning. And so if it's just 5 to 10%, they give you just a watch and not a warning, of course. And then we want to know the wind direction, of course. That's very, very important. If we cannot or do not want to cover all the windows, here we have some really nice website. When storms are around, I'm often here, tropicaltidebits.com. Here we have the forecast models, usually GFS the most reliable one, and so we can click on the future calculations. Yeah, it's not so far away to go back here in this area, maybe even that, and you can see almost impossible to see anything. This thing is just too small. We definitely need another tool. Maybe one thing which is very important, one of the best things here on this website is that you can compare the GFS runs which are produced every 6 hours. So you can go back to previous run, then check the latest one. You can go back, so you can see maybe a trend. And so I think it's pretty consistent. From the last time we had 955 millibar, now we have 957, pretty much same. I think center also same place as before, nothing really changed. By the way, one more thing on the mobile phone. On the AccuWeather, there's this hurricane tab, really nice thing. We have a lot of information, a lot of people are missing on that. Click on the current hurricane, then we see some information about track. We can go down, and down here we have a lot of very important information that's specifically for your area or the area which you have entered, which is here Clearwater, and we can see maximum sustained winds 56 miles per hour, definitely below the 74 peak wind gust. That's close to hurricane speed. Then we have also some rainfall probabilities, hourly rainfall amounts, and then the hourly wind speed. You can see the sustained speed, how it's increasing when it's peaking, how it will decrease. Can see both sustained and gusts. Super nice thing, really one of the best things. AccuWeather at the moment, I would say one of the best apps to cover hurricanes, but we still don't know anything about the wind direction, and for that we have to download, install the FlowX. And so here we have Clearwater again. Just make sure that you're choosing GFS. GFS forecast for a couple of days should be free as far as I know for everybody. It's updated every 6 hours. So we are going with that for now. Here on the right side you can also get information if it's updated. GFS has been updated September 25th at noon. So we are on the current map. Next update will be tonight. And so we have here the location. If you need to add another place, you can do that on the left side, add place. Then what I recommend is to edit place, choose -3 to +16 or just the maximum, whatever you have. You can also go with the travel mode, then it shows the current location. And then what's important here, this information here on top. You usually have the time, temperature, rain. Yeah, temperature we have 2 times. Yeah, I guess I've done something wrong. And here we need the wind, but it is called a little bit different. So what we need to do, we have to long click here in this area so we can edit, add or delete this thing. It's not marked, but it's this thing where I have been pushing long. So for example, we click on edit, and what we need is the wind vectors. Doesn't say wind speed, but that's also the sustained wind speed. You can also have the wind gusts, but what we need of course is the sustained wind vectors, and so we have it here, and so we can see the speed and also where it's coming from, and then we push up here so we can go through the time to the future, and so we slide up and down a little bit until we see the center of the storm pretty close, and then we go up and down a little bit to find out what's the maximum speed. So I go a little bit up, you can see it's still increasing, 59, 58, yeah, then after that going down again. So we go back in time, that's also lower, so let's go back and find the peak. I think the peak is really 59 miles sustained, and you can also see the direction. That's pretty much south, little bit to the southeast. Even though the center is here, most people would expect that the wind would be like west or southwest. No, actually it's not, at least based to GFS, and that's the wind prediction in 10 meters high. So that's pretty much what you will feel also on the ground, what's important for your home. So when we go back, we can see at the beginning the wind is coming from the southeast, a little bit ahead of the storm, then it shifts to the south. When we have the maximum, yeah, sometimes it does a little bit crazy stuff, but in general you can see during the peak the wind is coming from the south. Maybe when you see a little bit to the east, then maybe a storm band is predicted, and ahead of the storm band usually the wind shifts then even more to the side. By the way, here you can also see that the wind is usually going from the outside to the inside in a hurricane. That's how it works, and then it's lifted up and producing the precipitation. So for me at the moment, if I would want to board up windows, I would definitely start first from the south, unless there is something special, like special sensitive windows or a tree right in front of the other side or so. But I would start definitely south, and then maybe also do southeast and southwest. So that's it for now. I hope I've been able to help you a little bit with this video. If you have any questions or comments or want to share your own experience, especially it would be really interesting to learn from you what you are doing, what are your plans, at which conditions are you usually planning to board up your windows and when not. Please write everything down into the feedback area. I'm always happy to talk about these things, and if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.